This is a very, very popular topic, and it's a question that I had personally for myself because I don't really like being on the phone. I've never liked being on the phone. Even as a kid growing up, my mom would be like, "Oh, your uncle's on the phone," and like hand me the phone, and I'm like, "Hey, hello, yeah, I'm good. Uh-huh. Yep, love you too. Okay, bye." I get distracted easily. Like the phone is just not, it's not what I enjoy. I just don't like it. And so obviously when you start coaching, what do you have to do? Discovery calls, right? That's one of the very first things that you do. So what I wanted to do here is I wanted to break down like really like what's the purpose of the call. And I did write some notes in here. Um, Here we go. So there's 3 essentials, and I'm going to give you a bonus, which is going to be some of the scripts that I use to close without a phone call. So there's 3 essentials. We're going to be covering that. I'll give you the bonus. But first I want to cover, what is really the purpose of a discovery call, and what's the purpose of a sales call. Okay. Yeah. Bernie says, I don't like calls either. Yeah, I just really don't. Because people don't get to the point. You're like, what do you want? And I'm using this as if this is what we do, but really we do this now, right? Or like talk like this, right? So the purpose of a discovery call is to discover more about that client, discover whether they're a good fit, discover if you can help them, and discover if they're ready to get help now. So it's really just like we're uncovering and we're trying to figure out like, are you the right fit? Is this going to work for you? Do we vibe together, et cetera, et cetera. So you don't have to do discovery calls, sales calls, right? You don't have to do them. However, if you are not clear on these essentials, which I'm about to share, then yes, you're going to need to do some discovery calls, and you're going to have to do exactly what I did, which was just suck it up, do the calls until you figure out all these things and have these things set up, which number 3 was really the biggest one for me. But once you have all of these things figured out, then you can say, okay, I don't do calls. And you would do something like, there's 3 options. So one, you could do like a audio, like voice messages. So you could tell people to text you or ask them to send you a voice message, and you can just do like a back and forth voice message. It works really well on Instagram. I've closed some sales via Instagram via voice message. You can do like just straight DM, just say, hey, DM me, and just do text. Then you can transition over to a phone call if you like, which is what one of my clients decided to do. She sent people to DM, she qualifies them, she, does these 3 essentials, right? She goes through that process, and then she's like, okay, great, you're ready for the next step, which is just to hop on a quick call. She does like a 15-minute phone call, so it's not like a long and drawn out discovery session. Or the third thing that you can do is you can just put the price up and say, I don't do calls at all, so if you want it, buy it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that until you're really at the point where people are banging down your doors and you just don't have enough time for calls. Okay. So, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah. I'm like, what do you want? All right. Welcome. Good morning. Okay, good. So how do you sell high ticket without a sales call? Do we need to talk about what high ticket is? I'll just do a quick sentence. High ticket is generally going to be like 3 to 5K on the lower end, and then 10, 25K on like the mid to higher end, depending on what you do, what you offer, who your client is. If you are, there's no reason that you ever need to really get on the phone for anything less than $1,000. If someone needs to talk to you for $497, for $777, it's not your client. Trust me. Especially if you have some of these things already laid out. But once we get to, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, generally the highest tier that can be sold from a webinar is going to be right around the 2,000 range, even though I have seen 3,000, but this is someone who's like, they're selling a business offer. They're actually selling how to use webinars to sell. So it makes sense. But generally like 2,000 is gonna be the highest range for someone to like just click and buy directly. Then beyond that, when you get to like the 3,000, 5,000 range, that's typically when you want to go to a phone call. And the reason that you want to do that is because obviously you want to filter, like the call is like a filtering process. So what if we have the ability to do that without the call? That's what we're going to be covering. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Okay, good. Jennifer's here. LaTisha's here. All right. So essential number one, 3 essentials that you got to have. Essential number one is belief. So if you believe a call is required, then you're going to attract people who need to get on the phone. A call is not required. So let me just break. We don't need to spend too much time on this. Okay. Let me just break this one right now. I invested $8,000 with a coach, 0 phone call. The way that it happened was she was talking about a mastermind that she was offering, and I had been following her for a little bit. I had purchased a couple of her lower ticket. And remember everything that I'm saying right now because it's going to come back up by the third one. Okay. So I've been following her for a little bit. I purchased a couple of her lower ticket programs, and she said she had a spot open for her mastermind. She's asked to message for us to message her if we had questions. I sent her a message. I said, hey, I'm interested in it. What are the details? She gave me the details. I spent $8,000 on a payment plan. So I sent her like $800 deposit or something like that. And then $750 a month. Okay. So that's example number one. Next example, another coach, a different coach. She was also doing a one-on-one coaching program, or not also, she was doing a one-on-one coaching program versus a mastermind, like the first example. And she said the doors were opening. I had just invested in another program with her that wasn't necessarily lower ticket. I think it was like 14 or 1,500. And it was like, this was like the next logical step. She said, message me if you have questions. I messaged her. I was like, all right, I'm interested. What are the details? She gave me the details. And that one was a 13,000, which I think I split that one over three payments, which if it was paying full, it would have been 10K. So yeah, it was like, or 12K. It was like $13,332, I think, splitting it up over 3 payments. So 2 perfect examples of me investing high ticket without doing a sales call. Then the third example is where I did do a sales call, right? I got on the phone with them. But honestly, when I got on the phone, the only reason I went through the whole conversation, I already knew that I wanted to buy. The only reason I went through the whole conversation is because I was interested in learning more about how they actually sold over the phone. So they asked me the questions and I was like, yeah, well, Then when we got to the end, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. Like, how do we do it? And that was a $10,000 investment. And so my point is, if something is true, it's true, right? A rose is a rose is a rose. It can't, like, truth is. So it's not like, well, it's true here, but it's not true here. Like, no, if something is true, then it is true. Therefore, you do not need to use a sales call in order to sell high ticket. Why? I just gave you 3 examples of high ticket sales ranging from 13,000, 10,000, 8,000. I've also bought 5,000. Like, no sales calls. Okay. Didn't need and didn't require a sales call. Maybe they had one, but didn't require a sales call. Okay. So those are examples. Now, on the other side, once I had that belief for myself, it was easy for me to basically put that in my marketing and say, hey, if you're interested, just, send me a message. And from there, I've booked clients at 3,000, 5,000, 8,000, 4,500 without a sales call. No sales call, just a conversation via Messenger. Okay. So does anyone still feel, hi, Claudia, that they can't sell without a sales call? Do we need to spend any more time on number one? Okay. There's 3 essentials. And I really want to spend more time on the third one because there's a lot that needs to happen there. So are we good? Questions? Do we have the belief? Like, what doubts do you, and I'm not like, I'm being serious. Like, if you do still have a doubt, let's talk about it so that we can get that doubt out of there. Because if you're still like, well, So one doubt that's kind of like coming to mind for me, that might be coming to mind for you, is, well, I'm brand new. So if I'm brand new and people don't know me, then maybe they need to get on the phone with me. And what I will say with that is that stay tuned for Essential 2 and 3, because that's going to help you with that. But it doesn't matter if you're a brand new coach. It doesn't matter if you are, if you've been coaching for a while, like whatever it is. All for number one, the only thing that matters is that you believe that it's possible. That's it. That's all I need from you. I don't need well, I know I can do it. I don't need that yet. All I need is, yeah, it's possible for me. That's it. Do you believe it's possible for you? Okay, good. Vanessa says sounds doable. Mary says good. LaTisha says yes. Jennifer, what's going on, Jennifer? Jennifer says, I do assessment calls via video. Yeah. So sales calls not necessary. Awesome. Good. Okay. Let's chat. Is Courtney here? I'll connect you. Send me a message. Okay, perfect. You can send me a message. So this is for you or anyone else. You can send me a message when you're ready to invest at this phone number. Okay, that's a US code 1, and you can just text me there. That comes into our client relationship manager, and then we'll have the conversation from there. Okay, good. It's possible. Yes. Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, good. Heck yes. Ask, receive, and believe. Okay, good. All right. All right. We're all on the same page. So now we can move into essential number 2, which is a dialed in ICA and USP. So what does that mean? You're like, what are these? What's this alphabet soup? A dialed in ICA and USP. An ICA is an ideal client avatar, and a USP is a unique selling proposition. So this is essentially the who and the why. So who do you want to work with, your ideal client avatar, and the why, meaning why should they work with you? So part of the reason that when we move through the Path to Six Figures, one of the very first things that we do is go through your unique selling proposition. So this is module 2. Oh gosh, where the camera is. That's module 2. And then we also do your ideal client, and there's several other pages in module 2. And then module 3 is like ideal client, ideal client, ideal client. Like there's a reason that we go through all this. We do, demographics, challenges and pain points, objections that they might have. Like there's all sorts of, like there's a reason that there's the full module on ideal client, right? And the reason that we do that is because the more clear you are on your ideal client, the easier it is not only for you to find them, but also the easier it is for you to speak to them. So once again, doesn't matter if you're a new coach, experienced coach, whatever it is, when you know who you're going after and you know who your ideal client is, it's a lot easier to filter out the people who are not a good fit, so that you don't have to do the phone call for the filter, right? Because what I mentioned before is a lot of times the discovery call, the purpose of it is for us to discover, is this person a good fit? Am I willing to work with them? Do I think they can get results, et cetera, et cetera. So when you're clear on who gets the best results with you, when you're clear on who that person is, you can use your application to filter out, and you can use your and or a sales page. So when you use an application to filter out, you can ask questions like, for example, simple example, if your ideal client is married, you can have a question on the application that says, are you single or married? And if the person says, I'm single, then you can say, hey, thanks for your application. We're currently full right now, right? So you don't have to move them any further down the process. If you know that this is the type of client you want to work with, then you can simply have that. Now, obviously, some of you are would go into what I would call political gray area. And so there's certain things obviously we don't want to ask on an application. So I'll just leave it at that. But there are other ways to define it. And so let's say, for example, one of your questions is, which do you prefer, football or basketball? It's a stupid example, right? If the person's like, oh, I love football, then okay, they probably like chili, right? Because football fans love chili. So just something simple like that, right? So you can also ask a filtering question that's a roundabout way of telling you, is this the person that I want to work with? Some of the questions that I have on my application, which is coming back around now that we're changing up the process for getting into the path to six figures. Some of the questions that I have on there are like, how many people on your email list? What type of marketing budget are you working with? Because I have two different tiers essentially. So we've got one tier where we're really going to be like, catapulting someone from like 0 to six figures. Obviously, that's like the path to six figures. But then we've got a second tier where it's, you've already kind of got some things going, and you've got certain audience size, certain size email list, certain marketing budget you're already working with. And then it's that much easier for us to say, okay, how do we just 100x, 10x, 20x this, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. So the way that you would filter on a sales page. Okay, good. I was actually just about to ask that, so I'm glad that you volunteered that. Thank you. The way that you would do this on a sales page is you might do something like, this is for you if. So the same way that you guys notice when we do our, what is it in module 8? I'm going through this as if you guys have the program. All of you are going to sign up for the program at one point or another. But I think I have this in module 8. So the same way that you would pitch your discovery call, you would do that to also tell people who shouldn't reach out to you. So where is that? Is in module 8 where we're like pitching the phone call. Sorry, just give me a second to find it. Yes, here it is. It's in the sales script section. Gosh, I cannot find it. Anyways, sorry, I apologize. I cannot find it. But especially if those of you who did the create your high ticket offer challenge, you remember we did this, right? Where we were like, this call is for you if you are blank, if you are, this type of person, if you are da 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 da. So the same way that you would pitch the call, you would do that on your sales page for the program. So you might say something like, this coaching program is for you if you are blank, if you are XYZ, if you are da 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 da. If that sounds like you, click here to send me a message. Let's make sure we're a good fit. Okay. So all you're doing there is essentially just telling them how to contact you, what to do next. Okay. Now for your unique selling proposition, you definitely want to make sure that you include 3 different pieces, which is your personal, professional, and business characteristics. So you want what's unique about you as a person, what's unique about you as a professional, and then what's unique about your business. And the reason I like to break it down like this is because often we have a hard time figuring out what our unique selling proposition is. And it's just because you're too close to the boat, so to speak, right? So you're in your own skin. And so you can't really see yourself from the outside looking in and see how awesome you are. So what I like to do is I like to break it up to say, okay, what are some professional accomplishments? What are some personal things about you that are unique? And then what are some things about your business or the way that you do business that might be different from the way that someone else does it? And so when you break it down like that, what you'll find and what you'll discover is that you like mix and match some of those things. You do have a really unique selling proposition because there's no one who's like you. There might be someone who has some of your professional characteristics, but maybe doesn't have the business characteristics that you have. So there's all those 3 things. We kind of mix and match those to figure it out. Okay, thank you. Juan says it's in module 4. Yeah, I looked in 8. That's not the, oh, I know what you're talking about, Mary. That's not the one I'm looking for. Not the pitching the sales investment. I'm looking for the pitching the phone call. So like I said, I really thought it was in here because we did it on the challenge. And now I feel like I don't even know my own program. If it's not in here, I'm gonna be a little upset because I just ordered another round of books and I thought I fixed everything that needed to be fixed. Okay, I think I found it. You're right, Juan. It is module 4. Okay, here it is. It's right before module 5. It's the page right before module 5. Thank you. So this is our intro call pitch script. And I provided this to everyone who was in the Create Your High Ticket Offer Challenge. And basically, it's kind of hard to lay it out, but here's how we lay it out. So we give the name of the call. So once again, if you're not doing a sales call, then we don't need a name, but I wanted to bring this up to explain to you what I've got in here, right? So the purpose, right? This is for you if this is the purpose of it. After you're going to feel this emotions or whatever. It's this section that I'm talking about, this who this call is for. So you can do that same thing with your program, who this program is for, and then how to sign up, you know, how to reach out here. Just reach out, send me a message. Okay. Okay, great. Whew. Thank you, Juan. Now I know y'all are doing your homework because you remember where it is. You know where the homework is. Okay, good. So you really want to be clear on that. You've got to be extremely clear on that. And one thing I do want to encourage you on is that it can change. So, you know, don't feel like, well, I think I want to work with these people, but I don't want to narrow down too much. Like I want to work with these, like just choose one and then you can expand from there. Okay. All right. Essential number 3. And this is the one I want to spend the most time on. So we're good. We're good on time, which is pre-framing content. Pre-framing content. Okay. What people don't realize is that others who may want to invest with you, they're scared. They're scared of what? Losing time, losing money, being embarrassed, you know, signing up, but then having it be the exact same old thing as, you know, was before. They're like, oh, you know, I've done this before. I've tried this before. Like, this is not going to work. It's never worked, blah, 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 whatever. So what you're doing with your marketing is you're essentially attacking each of those pieces as you go. This is called pre-framing content. So most people have questions when they invest in a high ticket program, but when you have the right pre-framing content, like a webinar, a short video, or a VSL, you'll answer most of those questions. Then you can also answer those questions throughout some of your other content. But what I want to focus on is the one video or the one page. I prefer video because I feel like you can connect with someone better that way. The one video that person sees right before they send you a message, right? So it would be the same thing that they would see right before they book a call if you were to do calls. Okay. And so what we're putting inside of this pre-framing content is a couple of things. Well, one, we want to include our unique selling proposition. So you probably can just follow along if you're looking at module 9. One thing we want to do is we want to put in our unique selling proposition to explain to people who we are, why you should work with me. You know, our credibility is what it's called. Okay. Then the next thing that we want to put in there is why it's important for them to take action now and why they are the ones that are right for this. So once again, being clear on your ideal client and your ideal client avatar. And, you know, you want to describe them down to the details of like the emotions, the type of person that they are. So for this training, like let's say I was selling this training and I wanted you to message me so that you could get this training. I might say something like, if you're the type of person that knows what you want, so much so that you know you don't need a sales call in order to make a purchase, then you're going to love my training on how to sell high ticket without sales calls. So do you see how I just defined you as the person who knows what you want, right? That's the ideal client for something like this. The ideal client for something like this is someone who doesn't feel like they need to do a sales call themselves because they already know what they want. So that type of person is decisive. That type of person is confident. That type of person needs guidance, right? So describe them. Who are they? Okay. And then also why, like not just describing them, but why specifically that type of person, right? So the type of person who is decisive and the type of person who knows what they want already, they're perfect for selling high ticket without sales calls because blah, 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 whatever. So that's kind of a easy example there. Okay, good. Let me make sure I'm through all these comments. Good. Nancy says she loves the pitch script. Awesome. Hello, Jeff. Glad to have you here. Okay, great. The other questions that someone's going to have is like, what do I get? What do I get in your program? So with this, you want to focus more on the transformation rather than the individual pieces of items like, oh, you're going to get, 5 phone calls, you're going to get, email access. Like that's not really what I'm talking about in terms of when they want to know what they're getting. What they really want to know is like, what is the transformation? Like, what should I expect after? And this is what needs to be included in. So I call that the big promise and the awesome as a part of what we do inside of our training, what I like to call anti-webinar. And then also they want to know, okay, what are some, like they have these doubts in their head. So we want to make sure we're like getting rid of those doubts. We want to make sure, okay, good. You said that my connection was odd. It was doing some funky stuff yesterday. Hopefully good. We want to make sure we're getting rid of those doubts. We want to make sure that we're blasting through any of those fears that they might have. And then from there, we're letting them know it's time to take action, right? Here's how to do it. Here's what to do. We're including testimonials and providing other experiences from other clients. But at the, by the end of it, we're letting them know, hey, you have a choice. You can either keep doing what you're doing or you can get help. If you'd like to get help, send me a message. And then from here, if you're not going to a phone call, then I would take some time to describe the program a little bit more. So I would say something like, I'm working with clients inside of such and such program. When I work with them, we do this many phone calls. They get XYZ, blah, 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 whatever. And like, you're essentially doing like a mini sales page. If you know that you need help with this and you'd like to learn more, send me a message. And that's where you would go from there. Now, if you're going to a phone call, then I wouldn't go through like a mini sales page at that point because you need the phone call to filter. But now what we're doing is we're putting more of the weight on that pre-framing content in advance. And you'll know if you're ready to do this versus just grind it out on those, first couple of phone calls. If you have, some testimonials, if you are very clear on your ideal client, you're very clear on your unique selling proposition, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Okay, great. Exactly. They want to know what's in it for me. And I feel like you read my mind because I just typed that in the notes for the Package and Profit live event. What's going on? We got a couple people from the DMV checking in. So glad to have you here. Hello, Tatya. For those of you who are if you're trying to join the channel membership, you'll have to click the link in my description. It says join this channel. And I don't know, mobile desktop, it should take you there. Okay. All right. Would we like some closing scripts for Messenger? I think that's what I wanted to cover in that. What do we do? What do we do if somebody messages us? So let me pull that up because for some reason I didn't pull it up first. It's called Selling Over Messenger. All right, I'm gonna have to open this other doodah. Yes. Okay, no problem. Glad to have you here. Hello there. Thank you for joining from Rosarita, LaTisha. Glad to have you there. What's going on, Cindy? Okay, yes. Cindy says yes. LaTisha says yes, please. Okay, let me find these little things for you guys. All right, so the first thing that's going to happen is someone is going to reach out to you, and they're going to say, hey, I saw such and such program and I'm interested. Or if you're smart, you'll make it easy on them and you say, DM me with the word blank. Okay. So you can just say, DM me with the word blank, and then we'll go from there. Oh, I know where it is. Okay. Then once they DM you with that word, you'll reach back out to them and you'll say something like, hey, thanks for reaching out. I'd love to learn a little bit more about, uh, you know, your main struggle with XYZ, right? So let's assume that you're doing some sort of health and fitness offer. So, they say, DM me the word get fit. And if you're interested, so they DM you and they're like, hey, get fit, right? You keep it, make it simple because people don't know what to say. So they say get fit and you message them back and you're like, hey, thanks for reaching out. Excited to chat a little bit more about, potentially working together. Tell me, what's one of the biggest struggles that you're having right now with getting fit, for example. Okay. Makes sense. So you just want to open the conversation and ask them to tell you what their biggest struggle and pain point is. Okay, here it is. Okay. And from here, you're going to do your same discovery call process via message. So you'll, you could do audio, voice messages I've done before. You can do text-based messages. But the idea here is that if they're messaging you, they're generally already sold. So you don't need to have a whole full-blown conversation and try to sell them, because your pre-framing content already told them what to do. So generally, they already know that they want to work with you, right? The type of person who sends a message, they already know, they just have some questions. So, go through a little bit of your discovery call process just to make sure this person's a good fit, that they're not, crazy, or that they just message you to see how your DM process works or whatever it is. So a couple of examples of, I had a client who had reached out. And she was like, okay, well, when are the calls? I said, could you tell me a little bit more about your business? How do you help clients? And she told me more, and I was like, okay. And she said, well, when do you do the calls? And so I responded to that. And so this was very chill. So I was, working out, going about my day, whatever it is. But then what happens is you guys get a little concerned about the end of it, okay, which is the closing part. So let me give you some scripts for the closing part. So once you get to the end and you tell them a little bit more about the offer, I usually have this as a copy paste, so it keeps it easy. You tell them a little bit more about the offer, and your next question is, okay, well, which part are you most excited about? And then they'll tell you what they're most interested in and which seems most exciting. And then, you might ask them something like, okay, well, is there anything stopping you from getting started today? Or why do you want to do this right now? Is there a reason that you need to do this now versus later? So basically making sure that we're getting rid of all potential objections of, I need to wait, I need to do this, that, or the other. So then you'll let them know, okay, this is the investment. And so what you need to do on a messenger sale, that's a little bit different from a phone call. Like on the phone, it's a synchronous communication. Via message, it's asynchronous. So you might send a message at 9, they might not send a message till 3, right? Asynchronous versus synchronous, where you're on the phone together. So what we do via messenger is we'll do something that includes the investment and then gives them a deadline and says, hey, this is the investment. However, when you act within such and such time frame, the investment will come down to this. And, if you need more time, that's fine. It would just be at that normal investment. So, which one would you like to do? Do you need to do payment plan or pay in full? Okay. Do I have a video example of pre-framing content? Oh, that's a good question. Yes, I do. If you go to you've got clients.com/ let me just make it easy on you. LaTisha.tv/path. Yep, that's it. If you go to LaTisha.tv/path, you can go register to watch my anti-webinar. And not only do I break down and explain the pre-framing content, but you can watch it. That's my part of my pre-framing content. Okay. So then that's it. Once you get to the end, you let them know the investment, you let them know the date. If they don't respond, or if they quote unquote ghost you, like, who cares? Okay. So, you told them, hey, this is the time that you need to make your investment. This offer is good through whatever date. Like, give them a date and a time. You guys have been chatting back and forth. So if for some reason they just go, like, they're doing it for a reason. And then if they show up, a couple of weeks later and they're like, okay, I'm ready. Okay, great. Here's the normal price, right? So there's no hard feelings. There's no like desperation or anything. It's like, just let them know the number. And if they want to invest right away, they will. If they don't, then on to the next. And, when you get that level of confidence, it comes from the fact that you have people that are continually asking about your services. But also, when you get that level of confidence, like, you'll never feel stressed about trying to force somebody into a sale, or like checking your messages, like, did they respond back, or did I get a payment notification? Like, you'll just, it's just simple and straightforward. And then once they reply back and they're like, okay, great, I want to do the payment plan, or I want to do the pay in full, you're like, all right, awesome, well, here's the link. And then once again, you have two separate links. So you should have a link with a special price, and two separate payment options. You have a payment option that's the special price, and you have a payment option that's the normal price. If for some reason they come back and use the link and pay the special price, you just reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed that you paid the the rate for the special, fast action rate. If you're still interested in working together, I'm happy to work with you, but it's actually this rate. I can send you an invoice for the remaining balance. And if they're like, no, you send them a refund. Like, they don't get the fast action unless they're fast action. So you do have to make sure you stick to your guns on that. And that's it. Like, it's pretty straightforward. Hey, Courtney. It's pretty straightforward. Courtney, we had someone who's interested in signing up for the Path to Six Figures. I told them that I would have you reach out to them. I think it was Darnice. She's going to send a message if you want to chat with her. Cool. Exactly. Who cares? Oh, well. All right. Speaking of the Path to Six Figures. So the program investment was one thing. Then I changed it. I added a couple things. I added our workbook, and I've been enjoying working with clients and getting everybody into the program. And now I'd like to take things to the next level. So what I'm doing with the program is I'm increasing the investment. I'm connecting with some guest experts that will be coming in to speak with you guys on topics like TikTok ads. Like, I sat through one of his sessions, and I'm sitting here like, I need to get my TikTok ads going. But the fact that I have that education and knowledge, I can start it whenever I want. Someone who's going to be chatting about Pinterest, YouTube ads, as well as like organic stuff, like influencer marketing. Like, I have a deep network of a lot of marketers who are good at and great at what they do. And I want to bring them to you. But none of that is free, and it ain't cheap either. So what we're going to be doing is as of tomorrow, we're going to be increasing the investment. And if you'd like to join us after that point, you'll just hop on a call. We'll do a quick call. But if you'd like to get in before the investment increases and sort of be grandfathered into all that goodness, then you can do that before tomorrow, and you have the opportunity to get in. We're doing our next kickoff call tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We do our kickoff calls once per month. So if you don't enroll before the 3rd, then you do have the opportunity to enroll. It's not like a closed program or anything like that. And our next kickoff call will be at the start of May. So before the kickoff call, you'll have access to the pre-work. And then once you attend the kickoff call, then you have access to the remainder of the program. So if you want to jump in and get started right away, definitely join us in there. Okay, good. There she is, Courtney. This is Darnice. So she's going to send us a little message, and then if you want to chat with her, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, good. She's like, I'm grandfathered in. Yeah. So if you'd like to be grandfathered in. So the page is, if you don't know anything about the program and you're like, what is the path to six figures? You want to go to latisha.tv/path. There's a video pre-framing content. So there's a training. I call it an anti-webinar. You'll watch it. It'll explain the entire process of what we do to help you market your coaching business. Watch that training. It's an hour. It's like 90 minutes long. Okay. You can fast forward, you can rewind, you can 2x it. It's not set up as like a fake live stream. It's not live. I'm only live on Saturdays at 12. So there's even a video right before that page that's like, hey, I've recorded it, of course. I'm like, hey, if you want to 2x me, it's okay. I know sometimes I speak slowly and sometimes I speak really fast. So 2x, 1x, half x, whatever it is. All right. So you'll watch that video. It'll explain the program to you. All of the automations and things are still working at this point as far as the follow-up emails, I believe. So you'll still get the follow-up emails. You'll still get all of those things. You click the link to sign up. You'll go directly to the course page. If the page is still up, then you can make the investment and get started and get joined in with us. Okay. Okay, good. Any other questions or thoughts or anything else? That's what I got for today. So next week, what was the second session? So the second option that I sent to you guys was how to use Facebook ads to creating Facebook ads to get coaching clients. So that one is going to be a really, really good one. What I'd like to do with that one is break down the entire process. So like creatives, like how do we figure out creatives? How do we figure out targeting? How do we figure out our wording? Are we sending people directly to book a call with us? Are we sending people to, a webinar? Are we sending people to a mini course? Like there's some things work all the time and some things work, every now and then, and there's always something new. So I want to share all that with you. So we'll do that next week. Okay. Super excited to, to talk to you about that. Jennifer, so this is why you and I are connected. I'm the exact same way. I generally watch YouTube on 2x speed because I'm like, y'all got to get to the point, please. Speak faster. You're speaking too slow. So yes. That's sort of where I am. Okay, great. So thank you so much for joining me today on today's training. If you'd like more, don't forget to go to my channel, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. Until next time, remember that your dreams deserve your decision and you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. Look at me with all my products. Look, y'all. I'm getting blinged out with products. I've got shirts coming too. So until next time, dream, decide, do, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. Bye.